Okay, so this problem has been around for quite a while. So let's say you're a couple and you have young children, you need to work, yeah, but then you're forking out a whole bunch of money for childcare. And a few questions could get raised, but let's talk about this issue for a minute or two on this We Can Do It Wednesday, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to take you back a little bit. It feels like my word, feels like a lifetime ago, but if I think about it, it was a lifetime ago. Before I get into that, I'm Jen. Welcome to the Save Money and More with Jen channel. And it could be a tough thing. My husband and I, we had a beautiful, beautiful daughter way back in the Wayback Machine in 1979. But I had clear plans. I wanted to be a stay at home mom. That to me was of utmost importance. And at that point, try so hard. And for the most part, I actually did remain a stay home mom. But I also brought in income. I brought in income. I worked from home. This is when working from home was kind of like in its own infancy. And I said, you know what? We definitely need more income. When you have a child, it just changes everything as far as, well, first of all, in the wonderful way. But then, in addition to that, in the financial arena, it is such a different world than, before you have children. But this was a decision we planned on. And so I wanted the best of both worlds. And for the most part, I did that. But I did it part time. I worked from home part time, and my daughter was under my care at the same time. So I managed to get around. This is before the internet. There was no internet. I mean, today, really, tell you the truth, so many more options. So I was doing different things. And one of the things that I managed to do at first, I started a cleaning business. Okay, you're saying, wait a minute, but you're with your daughter. What do you mean cleaning business? So I worked part-time. I started a little cleaning business and I took my daughter with me. And my clients had no problem with that. In fact, they were like, oh wow, that's really, really cool. They were like really good about it. And I'm sorry, I still wanted to be the mom that had her daughter under her thumb until school time. All right. So, make a long story short, that's what I did, the first couple of years. Then eventually I started a business of which I was hiring people who wanted to clean, and I would take a percentage because I found them the job. Then I would get a percentage, like sort of like a finder's fee type of thing. So that was really good because I didn't have to go out in the field and do that sort of stuff, which is nothing wrong with it, but I still wanted more daughter time and, take care of what I needed to take care of at home. I'm kind of a traditional person, especially back then, but the income was still needed. The income is still needed. I don't know how people are doing it today. I really, really don't. It is such a big help. I learned something disturbing that 24 to 27% of people's income, their total income, goes into childcare. Are there alternatives? Can a family member help? Now, when I bring up family members, people think, oh, yeah, freebie grandma could do this. Not really. I don't think that's correct because grandma's time is just as valuable as some stranger's time. So maybe grandma might give you a family discount, but I certainly would not think twice. If I was, see, my mom had her own job. She was working. So she was doing that, bookkeeping type of stuff at that, very nice, famous restaurant in New York City at that point. So there was no mom available. And my husband's mother was not, not available either. So it was like, you're on your own, kids. But we were a young couple, and we tried our very best. A lot of people back then were in the same thing, but we didn't have the advantage of the internet. the internet can open up a lot of doors for people who are my really best suggestion is to try to stay close to home and try to reduce your cost of childcare, because to just work just to pay for childcare, ask yourself logically, does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know. The only thing I could strongly suggest is like do the math. A lot of people, even the ones that aren't struggling paying for childcare, maybe going to work and paying off things they don't really need to pay off so much of, like expensive lunches and stuff. And then when they really do the math, they find themselves with, did I really only earn that much money for all those hours of work? If that's the case, a person might consider just continuing being the stay at home mom type situation. You see where I'm going with this? It really is a question of math on all aspects. And of course, do everything possible to try to reduce your cost of living, your overhead, your rent, whatever it is that you're paying, for your roof, is young folks raising children. Very, very not easy. It is unbelievable what people are paying for the cost of childcare. For that matter, you might consider. I'm not saying do it. Everything I suggest is just a suggestion and a consideration. I look back now, there were a number of things that I did independently with my daughter and did it from home back then. I would, people were curious about makeup tricks and fun stuff like that. And people would come over and I would give them like, sort of like a, facial makeup type thing, makeover type thing. And that was fun. I also did tutored English, for example. There are ways, just have to know. I was always curious to consider becoming a notary public. Okay. Many times when people have important papers that need to be notarized, oh my gosh, where do I go to find a notary public? Whenever there's a notary public, that word gets around, word of mouth, that people find out, oh yeah, there's one that lives in my building. That happened to me once, about 20 years ago. I needed a notary public and I could not find one close by in the neighborhood. Then someone said, oh, you didn't know that so-and-so does this on the 25th floor of the building at that point? And I was like, oh, no, I did not know that. So, consider there are things that one could do to bring in extra income. I'm not saying being a notary public is a steady income, but it's also an additional possibility. The beautiful news is that today, the access to being able to be free enough to do that, find these work from home, real paying jobs, for example, it's just a great thing. I don't know how people do it today. The struggle is true and the struggle is real, but do the math and ask yourself, am I working extra for nothing? Maybe you're better off just doing a part-time thing of your own from home and not having to spend 24 to 27% of your take-home pay on childcare. Plus, it gives you more time with your kids because they grow up very, very fast. And then before I forget to mention, I was doubly fortunate because when my daughter was in kindergarten, that was the year that I was supposed to just substitute teach for 2 days. But my ex-childhood principal, when I was a kid in the same school, was not letting me go. I was like, okay, sister. So, I was in a Catholic school. Okay, so I asked sister so-and-so, so did the teacher decide to return, the one that I replaced for a couple of days? No, not yet, Jan. Can you please come back? And this was going on and on and on. I mean, I could tell you the whole story again. I have it somewhere on an old video someplace. Maybe I'll do a newer version of that story. And I'll tell you about it. But anyway, that worked out perfectly because then I put my daughter in that school in mid-year in kindergarten. I eventually stayed and signed the contract and remained. But then my daughter and we went to the same school because that's where I worked. And that's where she attended school as a student. So that thing worked out very perfectly. Not saying that's going to happen to everyone. That was really, really a blessing. That was a total blessing. But it is difficult. My best suggestion, sit down and do the math. Are you just working too hard to just pay it all out? Or are you going to get something from this? Or do you have an idea? Give an idea of doing something on your own, work from home. I mean, unless the need is obviously immediate. Immediate needs are a different situation. But if you have that little bit of wiggle room, only you would know that. I cannot answer that for you. But think twice. That is so expensive today. Have an amazing, fantastic day. However, I want to play a video clip I just made not long ago. It's very short. Hang on. I don't know why these clips give me a hard time to play. Hang on, I'm going to try it again. I just want to say this, that every little bit of savings counts. Whether you're earning an extra income from a side hustle or whether you're doing a full-time thing, every bit of extra, remember, sit down and do the math. Are you getting extra? But that was the theme of the video. Every little bit helps. If you save 10% on something at the grocery store, if you stretched out your shopping habits, every little bit helps. People think, oh, I just did this little itsy bitsy teensy weensy bit of saving. Sorry, but every little bit helps. Because if you do that here, little bit there, little bit everywhere, it helps. Okay. Will it make you wealthy? Maybe one day. Maybe one day when you invest that stuff. But somebody has to start from someplace. It can't just come out of the thin air unless one was blessed with what I called, end of quote, quote, end of quote, old money. Anyway, have an amazing day, everybody. I'm going to play this song. I know it cheers everybody up. And I hope this video clip works. 1, 2, 3. Hope it works. Come on, video clip, work. Take good care, everybody. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Don't forget to click like. If you didn't click like yet, what are you waiting for? Click like, share, and subscribe.